Hey, so I'm sitting here in my hotel room in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm actually looking right out the window at the Atlanta airport, and I just thought of something. We just did a TV episode on the Trinity Broadcasting Network for the 4th of July. Very privileged to be here with some friends of mine and my original mentor. And I thought of something, and about when I was thinking about impact that we have in people's lives. A few months ago, I was with a friend of mine, a friend who assists me on several occasions, and as an assistant. And he and I I think we were at like an IHOP at like 2 in the morning, and I was I was struggling with kind of a direction to go. And I know I'm not the only person who struggles with where am I supposed to go. And I'm at the point in my life where I know how to speak, I know how to write books, I know quite a bit about business, marketing my business. I know quite a bit about resilience and getting through really, really tough times in life. And I found that I know quite a bit in quite a few areas, and I don't say that for any reason except to explain my point here. But I was struggling with what should I focus on in life, because I'm the kind of person I'd rather go 100% in one direction than go 10% in 10 directions. Because if you do 10% in 10 directions, you are so much less effective than you are if you're putting all your efforts into one direction and you're just charging forward in it. And as I'm sitting here across from the table from my friend, he says, something to the extent of, I don't want this to sound wrong, but I actually feel really good. I actually feel kind of good that you're struggling. And I said, oh wow, thanks, just laughing about it. And I thought, and he said, no, but he said, here's what I mean. He said, Brian, the whole time I've known you, you've been this person who's, in his words, done these things. And, I speak to thousands of people, and that's such a cool privilege. I've written books. And the thing about it is that it really helped him to see that I was struggling, because it let him know that I was just like him, that he just wasn't alone in his struggles. I've seen mentors in my own life, people I really look up to, and you just think they're invincible. And sometimes you just see the very human side of their struggle. And it's not that you're happy they're struggling, but sometimes there is this thing where you go, oh wow, that person who just seems to all have it together, to have it all together, they're struggling too. Like they struggle also. And it's very uncommon. It's becoming more and more uncommon with social media and with so much, especially with Facebook and things like that, where people always put their best foot forward, as you should. But don't you ever think that what you see on Facebook and how great somebody's life looks, that's reality, whether it's intentionally put that way or maybe not intentionally. Nobody has it together 100% of the time. And don't ever think or compare your life to someone else's that you're judging based on the social media post. I always try and post things that are inspirational. I always try and post things that are very real, things, points that I think can really help you and a lot of other people live better lives and overcome your challenges you're facing. But the last thing I would ever desire is for you to think that I somehow have absolutely everything together and I never struggle. And there are constant struggles. You'll never get to a point in life where you're not struggling. In fact, if you do, you're going to become very comfortable. And in that, I can promise you through experience, when you become comfortable, it'll be comfortable only for a while. And then you're going to struggle again. Because when you're comfortable, you don't move. When you're comfortable, you don't take risks. You don't take chances. You don't start a new business venture. You don't leap out, from the tree you're on to the next branch in the other tree and take a risk. And when you're sitting complacent in life, you will slowly become miserable. You'll feel like your life is meaningless, maybe pointless. You're really not making any progress when you become comfortable. I just thought that was a really funny thing, because when my friend said that he was glad to see I was struggling, I knew there was I wasn't offended by it. I knew there was a reason behind it. But it was so funny, because when he said that, when he was about to say it, he kind of looked at me and grinned, and he's like, I don't know how to say this and have it come out right. And I said, don't worry, we're buddies. I can take it, and I'm not going to judge you for it. And he said, I'm so glad to see I'm not the only one. I'm glad to know you struggle. Because that's empathy. People want to know that even if you're somebody's hero, the one of the greatest things they can see is not just the great things you do, but the very human side of you sometimes that does struggle, because it lets people know they're not alone. Nobody wants to show that side. Nobody wants to show the side of their weakness or the struggle in their life, but that is what makes you the most real to people. And so don't ever be afraid to share some part of you. A lot of people are afraid to do that because they think that people are just going to judge them and take advantage of it, and some people might try. But when you're very honest with people about something that you're dealing with, most people are quite compassionate. Most people are very open-handed, very open-armed. Open-handed sounds like you're going to get slapped, but open-armed. They want to help you generally, and so whether it's with your family, whether it's with your spouse or your kids, maybe people on social media who follow you, whatever it is that you do, show the benefit, bring the benefit to the table. But every now and then, don't be afraid to come on here like I'm doing right now, and just admit to something maybe that you have a struggle with, because that's going to let so many people know who think you have it all together. Wow, it's not they can't look up to you, but it's that he struggles too. I'm not alone. It's the most important thing. One of the most important things in the world is that people understand they're not alone. It's ridiculous that people think they're alone in their struggles. I mean, we have over 5,000 years of recorded human history, and people actually think they're alone and that nobody understands how they feel. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Like, nobody ever, out of the billions of people who have ever lived, nobody's ever felt this way or dealt with this. Yet when we're going through it, we're inside this box and we don't get it, and we think that way. We all make that mistake. Hello, April. Good to see you on here. I think we met through, I think it was John Acuff's 30-Day Challenge program. Great program, by the way. If you haven't been in it, check it out. But feel free to ask a question if you have. I'm not going to stand here real long. But have you ever looked up to somebody and you just thought they had it all together? Or did it make you feel good when you learned that they were struggling with something? At this point in my life, I'll be very honest with you. I know that my life, the reason I'm here, is to help people. It's obviously to speak. It's obviously around resilience. And just to be very honest, to do what I'm saying, I haven't really told anybody this except probably my wife recently. But given I know a handful, or enough, so much about maybe 5 or 6 major things, I've struggled in my own confidence in my calling. What am I really doing? What I'm supposed to be doing? Or I love speaking to men about faith and being family men and how to be a man, because God knows and everybody knows we have a man crisis in America, heck, in the world, but especially in America. Young men have no men to look up to. There are so few examples of what a real man is, that kids are growing up and we wonder why they're going to jail or they're making stupid decisions. It's because they don't know what a man is. There's no standard to live up to anymore. And it's such a great need. And I'm able to meet that need in large part, very much so. I know a lot about that. And, there are also things like resilience with the military. I speak on military bases and in military programs all over the world, doing resilience training for combat veterans and their families, helping them keep their families together. I also speak in churches. I also speak in companies. I just got an invite from a speakers bureau today to go back to my home state of Michigan here in a few months to speak to a very large company there. It's a big corporate event, and I love doing those. But I think about it, and I get confused sometimes. Should I focus on one of these areas, or should I just keep doing them all? It's like in business, people say, well, you need to pick a niche and just stick to it, like a niche, pick one group of people to serve and then go after it. I've never been able to actually do that. So if you ever struggle with that, don't worry, you're not alone. If you're a life coach, or if you're an entrepreneur, or maybe a speaker or something, or a writer maybe. I've spoken to every type of audience imaginable, literally. I don't think there's one audience you could name that I haven't spoken to some extent or at some time. And I've always had the idea that I wish I could just pick one to commit to, and that's the rest of my life, because I could really go deep with them. But that's one of the things that constantly, daily, as I travel and speak, as I write books, as I blog, or I'm on Facebook. You see me going around doing what I'm doing. There's always something in the back of my head, sometimes wondering, is this where I'm supposed to be? And the interesting thing is that I haven't always been this way. There have been times where I absolutely knew without a doubt I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Even if I don't know where it's leading, I just have comfort knowing for somehow, some reason, I just know I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I'll be very honest with you, I'm kind of in a transition phase right now. It's like doors open, doors close, but it just kind of seems sometimes like, have you ever felt like you took a detour in life? You didn't mean to, but you took a detour off the path you were supposed to be on, and then you feel like you realize it, and then you want to get back onto the right path, but you don't know how to get back on there, and you're trying to find your way back. You know, it's not that we always go off track or take a detour we shouldn't. Sometimes that's just part of the journey. But we can all, to wrap this up, I think we can all agree that sometimes in life forces transition upon us, and it's not always very clear as to what we're supposed to do. And, the best thing I've ever learned to do really is, first and foremost, pray about where I'm supposed to be. Like, where am I supposed to go in life? And trust by faith that that prayer is going to be answered. And to also look at where are the greatest needs in the world, and where are the greatest needs I can meet? What do I really love talking about and helping people with? And just, where's my credibility? Like, where's my greatest credibility? And there's some great courses. Hey, Nick, I see Nick Nagley on there. Nick is an awesome guy. He and I have met a few times. He's also a combat veteran, Army veteran from the War on Terror. And I'm so impressed, and I'm just so privileged to get to meet the people I do. And all of you, and to see what you're doing is just incredible, and it's encouraging to me. So, I guess, again, I'm rambling now. It's late at night. It's 10:30 at night. But, don't be afraid to show the side of your struggle. Other people who look up to you, you need to be strong for them, but they also need to know that you're human also, and that they're not alone in their struggle. So, what would go ahead and leave a comment here. Tell me something. Tell me, what would your greatest piece of advice be for somebody who doesn't know which direction to go in life? Leave a comment here in the comments below, and let me know. What would your one greatest piece of advice be to somebody who doesn't know which direction to go in life? What would you tell them? Leave a comment. I look forward to reading it.